Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well and had a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all so much for being here. Of course, for Tarot Tuesday, we're doing political and current events. Um, so if you have a question in regards to those topics, go ahead and send them in the chat in all caps, a couple heart emojis. I haven't been watching much of the news lately. I really took Thanksgiving weekend, that long weekend off, just to kind of decompress and tried my best to stay off YouTube and the news and just recharge a little bit. But I am feeling a lot better. And like I said, I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Just a couple of announcements. Everyone, if you could do me a favor, please hit that thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Last I checked, I think we were a little under 200 from hitting 10K. So that would be really awesome if we could hit that sometime in December, and we can do another 10K party and giveaways for readings and Reiki, all that fun. So I would appreciate all of the support. And for shows, I believe I'm going to be on Mel's show this Thursday, although I haven't chatted with him. Next Monday, December 4th, we have our members live. We're going to be doing our Reiki and prayer circle, and that is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So shout out to the members, if, just so you remember the date, and if that's something that you might want to be interested in, consider being a member. We do that, and to the Reiki and the prayer circle, and then I'll add the members' prayers and intentions to my Reiki crystal grid to continue to send energy for that. And then I also do a questions and answers. Usually it's mini personal readings. And we do a monthly giveaway for the members for either a free reading or a free Reiki session. So it's always a lot of fun too. And I feel, sometimes with the chat in here, it can be a bit much with so many people watching, but it's a nice laid back, intimate meeting twice a month. So yeah, I did see on the news that they had Rosalind Carter's memorial. So I'm sure all of us are sending the Carter family a lot of love right now. Should go through the chat real quick. So yeah, I should be on Mel's channel next Monday night, members live. Next Wednesday, Susan Lynn's going to be on, which is always fun. So we'll be doing politics then. And I think that's it for next week. At some point I'm going to be going on Kim from Intuitive View's channel. I don't think we're going to be doing readings, but more of just covering some topics and, my journey and my way of, my spiritual journey and all that healing. So it's a lot of fun stuff in the works. Hi, everyone. All right. Yes, we're going to check on Santos. I was getting some hits with Santos. Between that and Rosalind's memorial, I haven't seen a whole lot of other stuff going on from what I caught this morning. But all right. Give me just one moment. Let me get all these questions started. I appreciate the patience, everyone. I was on Grow Your Light, Deborah's channel yesterday. I did stream it on mine, and I find her really interesting. She does a lot of numerology and has her own tarot deck. I know some people were upset. When I do personal readings, and like I said, I was a guest on her channel, so I really didn't have control of the question list. But when I do personal readings, there's no way I can do readings and keep track of everybody's hundreds of questions that are getting sent in. So I go in no particular order. I'm sorry if that upsets some people, but my thinking is those that are in need will get the reading, and if you feel like you really need a reading, send us an email. We can definitely get a reading scheduled. So all right, enough with that. Oh, I keep scrolling, getting down to the bottom, and then it goes way up. Lots of questions. Thank you all so much. All right. Now, Patricia, we're just doing political and current event. I don't like mixing it up. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of opportunities in the future for personal questions. My thing is, though, if you're going to complain about a free reading, I think that's the one way to guarantee that I'm not going to read you if you're going to get upset about it. Not you, Patricia, but I had somebody that left a comment for my show with Deborah that wasn't very nice. All right, there. I think I got them all. Okay. I don't know if this is really a question, but Earth Mama says Biden seems to be gaining strength. I can feel it growing. I wrote some scathing emails to CNN and MSNBC for their horrific coverage of Biden. Well, good for you. I think a major part of the problem is that all we hear the news media talk about is Trump and all the chaos with him, but they don't ever talk about Biden's actual accomplishments, and he's accomplished so much in a short period of time. And yeah, that's really not right. They come out and go after him and talk about his poll numbers and his age and all of that. So good for you, Earth Mama. I do feel like there's definitely some gaining of strength between now and elections. So I know everybody gets so nervous about that, but just take a deep breath. We're still a year away, and just you can even visualize just seeing Biden at that podium giving that winning speech on election day in the future, and just sitting in that energy and keeping the faith. I know it's hard not to tap into the fear with everything that we've all been through, and we're all a little triggered, and there's like PTSD from the Trump years and all of that, but we have to do our best to stay grounded and positive. Thank you, Viviani. All right. But I agree with you, Earth Mama. It's going to take some time, and I've said it before, I don't necessarily think a lot of people are, Biden's not that enthusiastic, charismatic candidate that gets really a lot of people excited, but he is what's needed at this time. And he will be crucial for making these positive changes and putting in these rules and regulations. When I look at Trump's legacy 20, 30 years down into the future, he's going to be declared the worst president in our history, maybe not even a legitimate president, and Biden will really be viewed very favorably. So, all right. I feel like every week I read on Putin. Karen says, one reader saw that Putin had passed. What do you see? Thanks. I don't think Putin has passed yet. I don't think he's far away from that, and I've said that. I almost feel like he could pass sometime next month or in January, and it being announced in March. Maybe it's February and it's announced in March. I've always felt that it was a little bit of time before it was public. Let's ask the pendulum. All right. Has Vladimir Putin passed away? Pendulum saying no. Will Vladimir Putin pass away in the year 2023? Okay, it's saying no. Will Vladimir Putin pass away in the year 2024? It's saying maybe, but like a slight yes. I don't typically ask when somebody's going to pass, and I think that's really hard to predict. But I think it's going to be, like I said, January, maybe February, because I feel like a big shift in Ukraine in the springtime, and I think it has a lot to do with Putin passing. So, or out of the picture, maybe he flees and he passes on later. But all right. Well, since we're talking about Putin, Lisa says I read an article that they're using AI on recent Putin appearances and older Putin appearances to see if recent sightings are truly Putin. What do your guides see? Well, that's interesting. I'm not feeling that they've used AI for Putin, like in speeches or anything like that, or appearances. I've always felt like body doubles, and I have heard that with AI intelligence, they can actually tell from the bone structure that it is not Putin. And I've seen reports on that. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to. I feel like there's body doubles, but no, I'm not necessarily picking up on AI for Putin's appearances. Maybe they're picking up something different because he's using the body doubles. Oh, interesting. I'd heard that Hunter Biden was going to testify. Did something happen, Karen? Did they say they don't need him to testify now? Let me know. Thank you so much, Ted. I've read on this in the past. What kind of government Russia will have post Putin. It's going to take some time, I think, post Putin, but I do feel a lot of revolution energy in Russia. Um, it even feels like it's now and maybe not even being really, the media isn't on it for obvious reasons. Putin controls the media. But I do feel like there's protests and there's backlash because of this war. But I think it's going to take some time. I've always felt like somebody close to Putin, like one of his higher ups, might be an interim president for, 6 months, a year, something like that. And then I feel a big shift in Russia away from the fascism into more democratic. But it's going to take them a long time to rebuild that trust and repair all the damage that Putin's caused. But I think 5, 10 years from now, um, they're not going to be such an adversary for the U.S. Thank you, Froxy Roxy. And maybe this is where the unknown with Putin is. Will he pass if natural causes or be taken out somehow? I definitely feel the health being a major challenge, but that's not to say that somebody doesn't take him out with the challenge. Maybe that's why the pendulum was saying maybe on when his passing is, because it's not quite, there's still free will for somebody to do that. I've always felt like, I don't know, I can see two possible scenarios. One, I feel like a woman and maybe there's poison there, or another is he's needing a lot of help, medical help to get through. I keep seeing like IVs and fluids, and I'm not a medical professional, but I mean, I feel like he's very, very, like, just barely hanging in there. So I'm starting to feel more towards the natural causes, but I could see both scenarios, Justine. Oh, interesting. Comer doesn't want a public hearing. Of course not. So they can just cherry pick their parts of it. It's there's nothing even there. It's all just to divert attention and you know to attack Biden or you know give Democrats what they feel like Democrats did to them with their January 6th stuff. It's all deflection and a diversion tactic, but I don't see it ending up working out in the end. All right. Oh, interesting. Thank you. So Hunter's agreeing to appear if it's public. Let's look at that. I definitely feel like a lot of energy and pushback of trying to make it public, but I don't think it's going to be. You know, these Republicans just want to keep this charade going. There's a bit of negotiations. Ooh. Obviously, we have the thief in the night with the Republicans. They're being the fool here. You know, very foolish, up to their own antics, trying to push through all of their drama that they have going on. But I do feel like there is maybe some negotiations between Hunter and the committee, and I think Democrats on the committee too, really trying to push. There's a lot of hard work and some success there too. Like I said, I don't know if it's actually ends up being public. My intuition was telling me no, but it's going to lead to something really disastrous for these Republicans. So whatever plans they have is going to be a major setback. You know, their tower comes crashing down. Humiliation. So let them call on Hunter Biden. I don't see it working well for Republicans. Last card out the tower. That's not good. All right. We're asking a lot of morbid questions if people are going to be alive or not. Of course, Republicans are afraid of Democrats questioning them on Hunter. All right, I got your question, Artist. Trump stated that he was going to end Obamacare and doesn't have a plan to replace it. Well, that was the case when he was president too, wasn't it? Well, that turned people not vote for him, plus his fascist plans. I don't think the whole healthcare and getting rid of Obamacare is really a major factor with his voters. I mean, it's the same thing. These Republicans all say behind closed doors that they want to get rid of Social Security and um, Medicare and all of these programs, and a good majority of their base is the elderly, supporting them, and they still vote for them even though they don't want to, acknowledge what they've said. Now, if Republicans actually did get rid of Social Security and it affected them directly, then it would be a different topic. But no, and I don't see it being repealed. So I don't see that being a major issue dissuading voters. I do think I've always said it feels like abortion being a major reason to get people out to vote, getting a lot of female and younger voters out. Um, Even if maybe they aren't the most excited about Biden, that and also the fascism, the threat to our democracy with Trump and these Republicans. And I think a lot of people view that or see that. So that's where I feel most of the energy with with that question, Ernest. Oh, and just a quick thing. I did notice I was watching somebody's show earlier, and mid live it went to ads. So if that's the case for us, It's not intentional. I don't like that, but I do think that YouTube is putting ads in live streams because they want people to, either they get the ad buys or, people will subscribe to their monthly fee so that they don't do the ads. But I'm not in control of that. If that happens, let me know because I'd be curious. But I have no say in that since I'm using YouTube's platform. All right. I'm trying to keep up with the chat, you guys. Sorry. All right. Let's get back to some of your questions. I have a bunch started. I like to kind of go with the chat and the live. So we talked about Putin. I want to read on Santos. Let me share you some of the hits that I got. Will Santos be expelled from Congress? I do see him being expelled from Congress. I'm not sure if it's this week or next, but I do see him being expelled from Congress. Absolutely. Now, what I was kind of picking up is, if he's not voted out now, I think there's going to be another opportunity in a month or two that's going to get him out. I do feel energy around him leaving sooner rather than later. But even if it doesn't happen in the next week or two, give it a month or two, I feel like he's out. So he's going to be very short-lived in the Congress. But I see him being so angry and him starting to even flip on Republicans and attacking Republicans, kind of like what was his name? Madison Cawthorn, was that his name? He was saying that Republicans had orgies and drugs and orgies and all of that. I see him going on the attack even against the Republicans. Let's throw some cards on it, but I do see him leaving, and I've always said I think he will be the first congressperson to leave, and I see his seat being replaced by a Democrat. Will Santos be deported? I just heard yes, Green. I think it's going to take a little while before that comes in, but I do see issues with Brazil in the future. Oh, Rebecca says Santos did a rant the other day. Well, that's just the start of it, I'm feeling. Yeah, Madison Cotton Ball. Oh, I didn't see him ranting. The media reported a few days ago. Okay. I feel like it's just the beginning. All right. George Santos. What's the energy around him? Ooh. Well, the jail card is the first one out. Being trapped. He can't get out of this. Being foolish. Him trying to hang on, but I see there's communications. I think there's a lot of evidence, and then like the death, the ending of his career. He's in a lot of trouble. Is he going to leave though? He's hoping there'll be enough Republicans that will support him, but I see justice crossing him. So it's going to be close with this vote, but yes, he's leaving. He's leaving. He's going to try to. This is him fighting. This is him emboldened. I think attacking both sides, like I just said. Yep. He's out. He's out. He's lost. So he's in a lot of trouble. Out of Congress, I do see the campaign finance stuff really coming after him. It feels like it's not a huge sentence in the U.S., but it almost feels like while he's being tried here, I feel like that's when Brazil starts knocking on the doors. So I don't know if they can try him in Brazil if he's incarcerated here, or if it would be right afterwards. But that's where I really see a lot of the trouble is coming from Brazil. Yeah, I have your question, Rob. I just wanted to touch up on Santos. All right. No, Laura, I don't think Comer's going to shut down this investigation. It's not even a serious investigation. They know it. It's just all about the optics and trying to change the narrative and attacking Biden and making it seem like it's normal for, if they're that concerned about the president's kids and the decisions that they made, even though he wasn't in the Obama administration or in his administration now, Hunter, then where's all the outrage about Jared Kushner and Ivanka and making $2 billion from the Saudis while they were actually you know, part of the staff there, helping. So just the hypocrisy is crazy to me. All right, let's take a look at Rob's question. Not sure if you've already answered. The second CR for the budget is February 2nd. Do you see if the government will shut down 2-2? If so, any idea how long? It's interesting because even um, the last two budget votes, I felt like there might be a short shutdown. Now, I mean, technically, I might not be wrong if I'm picking up on a shutdown. Maybe it's just down the line. Let's take a look. I do feel like there's going to be a short shutdown. I also feel like possibly around that time is when the new speaker, Johnson, is in trouble, because I always feel like he's got a big scandal coming up, but I feel like things replaying what happened with McCarthy or making a deal with Democrats is going to be the same thing that has to happen with Johnson. He's going to have to do a deal with Democrats to keep the government open, and he might resist it for a little bit. But when he agrees to it, they kick him out, just like they did McCarthy. That's my prediction. I'll throw a couple cards on it. Oops, sorry about that. Actually, let's ask the pendulum. See what the pendulum says. Cece says Santos settled his check fraud case in Brazil in March. He had to pay $4,800. Case was dropped. Yeah, well, I feel more trouble with Brazil, Cece. I could be wrong. That's just, I got to tell you what I feel. All right. Will there be a government shutdown February 2nd, 2024? Pendulum saying yes. Will the shutdown last for the whole month of February? No. Will the shutdown last for a week? It started off as maybe and then turned to a yes. Will the shutdown last for 2 weeks in 2024, February in 2024? Will the government shutdown last for 2 weeks? Saying no. It might be like a week, week and a half, Rob. It doesn't feel like it's a long shutdown, but I feel a lot of drama behind it. So Republicans, even though I think a lot of them don't really care either way. They would have shut the government down, but I think the overall optics of hurting families around the holiday season, they knew was not going to bode them well if they did that, and that's why, it was. I think that's why it was passed and pushed off to after the holidays. But I've always felt a short government shutdown. I hope I'm wrong. Oh, I saw that. Marjorie Taylor Greene, her book is flopping. Nobody wants it. She's begging late night hosts and to let her on to promote her book, and they're all telling her no. That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't see that book doing well. Who wants to read who cares what she has to say? She's an idiot. Will MAGA be upset that Melania attended Rosalind Carter's tribute today? Yeah, I don't get that. I think she showed up because, you know, she wanted to feel important or like she fit in there. But I can tell you, she did not. There was nobody talking to her. She was a lone duck. Um, she felt very much, well, she feels very much out of place. I'm not sure if it's still going on, but yeah, really kind of weird. Wanted to act like she was important, though. At least it was Melania and not Trump, though. I don't see a lot of energy around people getting upset that she attended Roxy Roxy. All right. Merrick Garland's name has been generating energy. Is he still in the game of bringing Trump down? Absolutely. I don't think we're gonna really hear a lot from Garland though. I think that's why he brought Jack Smith in. But behind the scenes, absolutely, he's up to date with what Jack's doing. There's communications there. Becky, do I want a copy of what for Christmas? MTG's book? I'll pass. Well, it would be good to use for like to start a fire in your fireplace. Getting if you had a wood fireplace, getting it started with her book. No, I'll pass if that's what you're referring to. All right. 435 watching. Thank you so much. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe. And if you would like a reading or a Reiki session, send me an email, kevinlovingvibrations. It's a great time for either or a combination of both. See what the New Year energies look like for you. And with the Reiki, it obviously does the healing and bringing over that overall peace and balance. But I also like to kind of use it in that manifesting energy. You can ask the Reiki energy to remove anything that you're ready to leave in 2023, and those things that you want to bring in. You can ask the Reiki energy to help support you and to bring those things in or clarity of those things. So. Yeah, I agree, Cece. She says, I can't see Garland lasting 8 years in the battle against the fascist GOP. I don't feel 8 years either. I feel like he's going to be. Yeah, I mean, he's so tired as it is, but I do feel like there might be a replacement for Attorney General in Biden's second term. All right, Merrick Garland taking down Trump. Ooh, the tower. Oh, there's a lot that we don't even know. Oh, yeah. He's going on the attack, and he's got that evidence. The thing with Garland is, he is focusing on Trump. He's got more information underneath, more people involved. I think specifically with the January 6th and even the documents case too. But he's doing it one at a time. He wants to come in super strong. He doesn't want it to be all over the place. So he's focusing at one thing at a time is what I feel. Oh yeah. Trump is defeated from Garland. Absolutely. Justice above. The magician. So he's able to get the work done. Oh, looks like somebody's tied up, doesn't it? I don't think it's Garland. At the root of the reading, tower. So Trump is imploding. He's got all the secrets, all the things that are done in the dark. I have the fool, so the foolish acts, but then this is like all the energy and momentum. So we're getting close to to that place. I know it's hard because things have taken so long, but just keep the faith. There's definitely Garland. There's energy around Garland taking Trump down. Absolutely, not looking good for Trump. Just wait. I tell you. I keep telling everybody. Between now and an election, there's going to be so much shock and awe with Trump and the Republican Party. People are just going to be really, it's like the Republican Party has a foul smell. Nobody wants to be by them. Nobody wants to vote for them. So, Sacred Hag, I really want to know what will happen to the Trumpsters emotionally and mentally when 45 goes down. I don't know how my in-laws will cope. It's going to be tough for even for the next couple of years. I mean, even when Trump is gone, a lot of these people need deprogrammed. I mean, it's definitely people have been brainwashed. It's a cult. So I do think it's going to be hard, but I do feel an energy shift come Biden's second term, in the 2025 to 2026, and it feels like between then, where things have been so polarized, now there's coming to the circle, But I do think that you're not going to have somebody constantly adding the gasoline to the fire, to these Trumpers' emotions and mentality when he's out of the picture. So it will calm down some. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. 2024, I think is going to be, that election afterwards when Biden wins, we're going to hear about how it's rigged, or it's going to feel like 2020 again a little bit. People protesting, that kind of thing. But I do see it like 2025, 2026, us in a better place. And I think it's going to be important too, because I've always felt the Republican Party is fracturing into two groups and imploding. And it's going to take them a while to rebrand, but you're going to have like Liz Cheney and those that have stood up against all the extremism, the fascism, really, and I'm not going to agree with their politics still, although I do feel like a shift more towards the center. I think that that's going to help, you know, getting the MAGAs out of the party. And some people are going to always be that way, but you don't have somebody that allows for all of that hatred and bigotry, not adding fuel and getting people thinking that it's okay. And those people that are really ignorant, I kind of feel like just going back into hiding. So, but it's going to take some time. I hope that answers your question. All right. Yeah, 2024 is going to be a bit interesting. Absolutely, Barbara. Not saying it's going to be easy. It's not going to all be sunshine and roses. It's still going to be kind of similar to what we're dealing with now, but it feels like now we're kind of seeing these things coming to the light. There is some accountability, and it's like the action is really taking place in 2024. Yeah, people are fed up with the rigged nonsense. I agree. Okay. First Mama says, so what's up with the gag orders? I'm confused. I haven't heard of anything new with the gag orders. Aren't they still being appealed? If you can let me know what you mean specifically with that. I hadn't heard of anything new, but I do feel like the gag orders are going to be upheld. I did hear that there was a lot of evidence, I think, was it the Judge Ingron and all the threats he's been getting, and that was kind of being put out there. I've always told you the one that I see being really serious with the gag orders is Chuck Hibb. So that gag order does stay in place. It might be a little bit more limited, but as they're appealing, whether he can be gagged or censored, there's definitely restrictions there still. Oh, good. DOJ wrote anger on to reinstate the gag order. Well, isn't it being appealed? That's what the thing is. It's not really up to him, right? Oh, interesting. MSNBC finally admitted don't believe the polls, they're way off regarding Biden. Interesting. Well, everybody that's been sending them emails, keep it up because obviously that pressure is getting through. They want to keep us in a state of fear that Trump is doing much better and he's a real threat. And I'm not saying that he's not a threat. I mean, we do have to be careful. You know, we do all have to go out and vote. We have to get our family and friends out to vote. It's so important. I feel like it's every election, like this is the most important election, but that's where the energy is. But I do feel like, where the energy sits now, like turnout is very high in 2024. And I don't feel the polls are accurate. I've said that many, many times. I think they're still going to be called Republicans, Roxy Roxy. It's like rebranding their message, actually having a platform, realizing that they're going to have to make changes with their thoughts on, you know, the things that they want to cut. They can't win elections if they're all for abortion bans, that kind of thing. Or, having dignity and, respect and standing up for what's right, you know, not cowering to Trump because they're afraid of his base or afraid of not getting reelected. They need to have that bravery. They need to have that spine to stand up for what's right because so many of them, they come on with this persona, but a lot of them are scared, you know, and that's what we're kind of learning right now too. We started to see it with them trying to elect a speaker. There were some people standing up, but at some point, they put somebody that's just as bad as Jim Jordan and Trump in there, but they agreed to it because of the name recognition and because they were afraid of the threats. So this is going to continue. We're going to see more and more Republicans kind of stand up against the MAGA. This is part of that implosion, that divide that I feel between the parties. And I feel, I've said it before, I feel very well that Hakeem Jeffries may be Speaker of the House before the election in 2024. That is definitely a possibility. So, all right. 500 watching. I did hear that the evangelical leader is denouncing Trump. I've seen one. Will others follow? I do feel energy with that with the leaders, but I think that the disconnect is the leaders actually getting their supporters to change their mind about Trump, because I think a lot of the supporters, those members of the evangelical churches, a good majority of them, I feel like still like Trump, and they don't care. I do feel energy around it, and even maybe money going to other candidates. I don't see that being successful, though. Karen says, I hope you're right about Hakeem. I see him as speaker. Now, if that happens, this is where timing's a bit hard because I might see something, but the energy can shift. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It's just delayed. But I do see Hakeem Jeffries as speaker at some point, and I do feel energy. And actually, if I were to give a prediction, I feel like I would say that he would be speaker before the election. So yeah, it's a cult, right, Rebecca? It's a cult, not a religion. Oh yeah, I've heard about that too. All the money's going to Trump to pay his legal bills. Yeah, Republican fundraising is way down. It's not going to bode them well at in the next election. Will Santos be out this week? I feel like it might be next week, Joel. They might bring it to the floor though. They might start the votes, but are getting things in motion this week. maybe like Thursday of this week, and then maybe the vote's early next week. I said if I'm going to give my prediction, I feel like he'll be out in the next week or two. It could be pushed out a little bit longer. I do feel energy around that, maybe a month or two, but I see Santos out. And I've told you guys since, the Republicans, since he got in there, that he will be the first Republican out of the Congress. And I still feel that way. All right. Is the Jewish community going to be okay during this time? I do see continued threats. Hostile actors is what I just heard against the Jewish community. There's a lot of security being given with these pentacles that I'm seeing. There's a lot of offerings for the Jewish community. Page of Pentacles. I think money and continued resources being put into, like the FBI and making sure, that people can't play on these. So I do see a lot being sorted. Yeah, keep the faith. It's a hard time, but we're going to get through it. Yeah, there's definitely, with the Hangman and the Seven of Swords here, the Hangman can be somebody sacrificed. It's attached to his foot, but there needs to be a shift in the perception. There's definitely plans for it, but I do feel like a lot of them are thwarted. A lot of group work, people coming together for the security. So it's a hard time, but the Jewish community is going to get through this. Nancy says all four of my first ladies were at Rosalind Carter's funeral. It's a custom. Yeah. I feel like Melania was trying to be like an adult or, feel important, like she belongs with them, although I felt like nobody talked to her. I think she was very isolated during it. But she wanted to be taken seriously is kind of what I feel. I'm not a big fan of Melania's, but at least, like I said, at least it wasn't Trump. They're making it about him. I don't think they would have allowed that. He wouldn't have been welcomed. All right. I'll just do a couple more questions. Like I said, I should be on Mel's channel for a live this Thursday. So if I don't get to your question today, I'm sure there'll be a lot in the news between now and then. Or ask your question on Thursday night next week. Should be me and Mel, and I have Susan Lynn coming on. So a lot of fun. This is a good question. Will Florida soon have a sales tax? DeSantis has wrecked the state. I do feel a sales tax, but it doesn't feel like it's soon. It feels like it's a while. I feel a little bit of energy around a yes. So for me, that feels like it might be like 5 years off. It might be a while still, but I do think probably as a result of DeSantis wrecking that state that they're going to have to bring in revenue some other way. Deb says Melania didn't look uncomfortable. I think internally she felt a little out of place. Will Melania show up at Trump's funeral? I'm sure. They might be separated by then. Who knows? But yeah, I did see that Jimmy Carter showed up. Yeah, and he was trying to hang on for her too. I said when they announced that he was going to be in hospice care, I did feel like I'm hanging on a little bit, and just felt like him really wanting to hang on, and that I felt him and Rosalind would cross around the same time, pretty close together. So you guys are too funny. Oh, that's a good question. Will states begin to pass bills regarding candidates changing parties after elected? I think it's going to take a while, but I do feel like yes. It's all part of this cleanup act that's happening 2020, end of 2025, 2026, 2025 to 2028. It's like us having to really put in a lot of rules and regulations to protect our democracy. Term limits for SCOTUS at some point. It's going to take a while to get there because I think you need a huge majority of the votes to change the Constitution. Is it 2/3 in each house? But I do see order coming in. And I think even at some point too, it might sound really crazy right now, but part of this Republican rebranding, they're going to want to make sure that there's these rules and regulations in place so somebody like Trump doesn't have the power that they do. He doesn't have the power to control the party like he did. So for their own sake, I see even some of them, a good chunk of Republicans being for, putting in these rules and regulations. I do feel as them changing the rules so they can't switch parties, but I think it's going to be a while. It might be like a decade out. Queen of Pentacles, 6 of Cups. Yeah, it's a bit of negotiation. Yeah, waiting game. It's going to be a while still, but yes. Yeah, they're going to act. Yep. I say yes. Could be like 6 to 10 years, though. And I've said before, too, I even feel like there's voting rights, to stop all the gerrymandering. It's a huge rules and regulations changes in the next 5 years for our country. Absolutely, Sharon. Will the DOJ file suits against state legislators who violate people's civil and voting rights? Absolutely. And that's where it gets a bit tricky, too, with this one ruling. It didn't affect all of the states, but quite a bit of Midwestern states where they said that, groups can't challenge the voting maps. I did feel like some energy because I think it was it being appealed and Kavanaugh would decide if they took it up or if they send it back to the appeals court. I didn't have the best feeling about that, but I do feel like DOJ stepping in and filing suits. Absolutely. And like I said, this is just kind of like a short-term thing because I feel a shift in the Supreme Court, and like I said, even the voting rights, there's changes to that. So I've always felt like getting the states out and not having a partisan, Republicans, Democrats deciding on their own maps. I've always felt like maybe it's independently contracted people coming in and drawing the maps, to be fair. I mean, even Democrats will gerrymander the maps to benefit them. I mean, I think, don't get me wrong, the Republican parties do it a lot more often and a lot more obviously and aggressively. But even in some states, the Democrats do too. So the only presidents there were Biden, Carter, and Clinton. And not hoping for this, but I was getting a hit too. I do feel for Bill Clinton, I think next year there's definitely some major health issues. I don't know if it's him passing next year or the following year, but I do feel like there's some health challenges for Bill Clinton in the next year or two. So it came to me. I hope I'm wrong with that, but I was picking that up recently. Will Trump be alive for the upcoming elections? A lot of morbid questions between him and Putin. I do feel like there's energy around him possibly not being here. Regardless, though, it feels like even if he is here come the upcoming elections, I feel he's off the ticket. I don't know if it's, because there's that medical intervention and he's not able to run. Because I've always said I feel like maybe he wins the primary, but there's like chaos among the Republican parties trying to figure out a replacement for him. Kind of scrambling. I don't know if that's with a death, him being, needing help and not able to run. But yeah, I could see it either way, Karen. All right, you guys, I'm going to do one more. We have a lot of people joining us today. Thank you so much for the support. Catherine, we'll end on this. Will Ukraine get enough aid from everyone? I said before, I do feel Ukraine and Israel getting aid at some point. I almost feel like there's an agreement made for these aid packages. It might be in January, beginning of January, though. Or they get the aid in January. Yeah, they need that help. Yes, they get the money. It's a little cloudy. Yeah, it's a little cloudy. It feels like things have been taking a back seat a little bit. There's been that retreat, obviously, but people are still fighting for this. They're pushing through. It's hard for the Ukrainian people, but they're going to persevere through this and be victorious. But there's the challenges that come with it. They have the 10 of Wands, so this is abundance, that money, those resources coming in. It feels like it's delayed now, but when they actually get the plan together, it moves really quickly. Yeah. Yeah, but it's definitely a bit of a challenge for the Ukrainian people. You have those greedy Republicans that don't care. They're Putin's puppets, and you want to do anything to help with him. Holding on to that money, that greed, but that money, that abundance is coming. It's challenging for the Ukrainian people, though. In the meantime, I do feel that. I do feel like too, though, even though the aid packages haven't been sent, I do feel like there are some resources that Biden is able to help out with, you know, behind the scenes, you know, whether that's equipment, resources, the food and aid and that kind of stuff. But for an actual, for all those funds to come through, it might be like I was picking up January maybe. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's sooner, but all right, you guys. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. We had a big chat today, and I really appreciate everybody's support. If you could all do me a favor, please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe. I know I've said it a few times. I won't say it again today, but really trying to get this goal of 10K before the end of the year. We'll have a fun 10K party and do some reading and Reiki giveaways when I get to that point. But thank you all so much. Like I said, I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Got to spend some time with family. I will have I should be on Mel's channel on Thursday. So if I didn't get to your question, please come to our collab Thursday night. I believe it's on Mel's channel, but and then next week I have my show on Tuesday. Susan Lynn will be on to do Politics Wednesday. Me and Mel should do something Thursday. My members live will be Monday night. So a lot of fun stuff in the works, you guys. But anyway, I will see you all very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm sending you a lot of love and blessing. Take care, everyone.